Joining us next on the Marmy Rock Show, he's no stranger to the Marmy Rock Show. We've got Morten GP with us, but Morten is in a project now called Scandic Tribe out of Scandinavia. Their new record, A Light at the End, is due out on March 6th, and we've got some tunes for you tonight from that one. Mort, welcome back to the show.
Thank you very much.
So it's been, well, first of all, I want to congratulate you on the fatherhood. How's fatherhood treating you?
It's great. Can't complain. I love it really.
Yeah, when you and I first met, we were behind a nightclub in Philadelphia when you were playing with the Electric Boa, so we go back a little ways.
Yeah, sure. That was a good time, too.
So,
fun night.
So for folks that don't know your new band, Scandic Tribe, tell us a little bit about the band, and it's essentially a duo, but tell us how you guys formed and who it is.
It's essentially something I started while I was still living in the United States, and I started recording it, and I got in touch with a singer from Norway. I'm originally from Denmark, and I got in touch with a singer from Norway that kind of contacted me while I was writing the songs. And we started sending tunes back and forth, and it really clicked on really well. It's kind of like the singer I was looking for, and one thing led to the other, and he flew over to the United States, and we started recording the album. That's been taking... it's been taking some time to get it correct and get it done well and all that stuff. And in the meantime, I ended up moving back to Europe or Denmark. So and now I kind of live close to my singer now, and we got some session guys, and we're also putting a band together now, so we can get out and play some shows now. So essentially it's going to be a whole band now.
Well, that's exciting to hear. Now, I mentioned the record's due out March 6th. Now, tell us where you recorded this, and you used a producer that a lot of people may recognize, didn't you?
Yeah, terrific guy. It was recorded in New Jersey, in a studio in New Jersey called Granville House Recordings, and we did all the tracks there. And when the mixing came about, I came in touch with the producer called Roy C. He's a known guy, a great guy too. Produced a lot of bands like Rob Halford and Bruce Dickinson, Judas Priest, Sepultura, Malmsteen, you name it. And I sent some tunes over to him, and he was very interested, and we actually got along really well and ended up being good friends too. And he took it on him to mix it, and I flew to LA a couple of times where he's living at, and he did the mixing, and we did a few overdubs here and there, and it turned out great. I have to mention too that I got in touch with another mastering technician that is equally good as Roy C. His name is MARR Applebaum, that also lives in California, and he's no stranger to Rockwell either. He worked with Yes, Meatloaf, Fate No More, Rob Halford too, and a lot of bands. And he got on the last end of it to do the mastering. So we really had two really, really well-known great guys that put the last touch on this album here to give it the finish that we really wanted to have on it. So that was great.
Well, you chose well, and it came out very well, so it shows in the final product. People are going to be very happy when they hear it. In the trailer on your Facebook page, there's a little thing in quotes that says, "A true story." So are all these tunes autobiographical?
Yeah, it's called Light at the End, and it's kind of like you can almost call it like a concept album where there is it's all about taking a journey from the dark into the light, and there's a lot of true stories in it. From a period of time where I came from a dark place into the light, lost a good friend of mine, and I lost my dad, and I also a lot of things go on. So it kind of turned into be a true story for how life was at the moment. So, and I kind of worked around it which was a challenge, but it was also very pleasing to do this, that work the songs together in a way that they all work individually, but they also work as a whole album, where you kind of like you go on a journey And that's also one of the reasons why we chose to do it on a vinyl as well, because we did a lot of artwork too that kind of follows the whole story. So not only do you get the story on audio, but you also get it visually with the artwork on the gatefold vinyl that kind of like follows the whole story. So it is a true story on how life was at the time, and also some true stories in between from real life experiences. So yeah, it is a true story.
And there's two songs in particular that jumped out at me. One I've heard previously that I really like, but the first one I want to ask you kind of the story behind is Dusty Sunrise. What city are you talking about?
It's Dusty Sunrise. It's not a particular city. It's more like a particular person that we all know that might not get all the credits that the person deserves. But if you take that person out of the mechanical room, the whole thing falls apart. So that's kind of a tribute to people that are hard workers. So it's like a metaphor actually. The Dusty Sunrise. That the sunrise is cloudy, but without, sometimes it's a dusty sunrise because it takes hard work to get to it. So it's kind of like a metaphor.
And that's one of the tunes I'm going to spin tonight. Now, another one that's always been one of my favorites since I first started hearing your music was Heaven. I've really always liked that tune, and I think it's my favorite track on the record. Tell me about that one.
Heaven is a very emotional song. It's actually about one of my closest friends that I've known since we were 3 years old that sadly passed away a few years ago. And that song is... There's actually two songs on there that's kind of dedicated and about him. And this one song here, Heaven, that you asked about now, is kind of like, I looked at it because he was a music lover too, and I kind of wrote this tune as a way that he would like it to be, because this is kind of like a tune that he'd be proud of, that he would enjoy. So that's kind of like I kind of like felt like that I had some sort of connection with him, and that's what came out of it, because that's kind of like. It was sad to see him go and all that stuff, and it's been taking a long time, and I'm still not over it. But that was kind of like a connection that I had with him, that it kind of like felt like was his tribute that he would have wanted to go out on. So that's kind of like the story behind that.
Now you mentioned you're going on a vinyl release. Now you've been obviously real active over here in the States and over in Europe. Is vinyl bigger over there in Europe, or is it bigger here in the U.S. right now?
The whole music business is a little bit upside down right now. That vinyl is the only format that's really selling right now, and I think that goes both in the US, but actually more in Europe. There's a lot of collectors, because people are starting to appreciate the physical product as well, and doing a vinyl is a lot more complicated than just doing a CD. It takes a lot more time, and it's a different mix. And the final product nowadays that everybody got, you can listen to it on all kinds of music on digital streams and downloads and all that stuff, which is good too. But it's still a different compression that I use there. And on vinyl, if you're a real music lover, you kind of get all the details that you can't always hear on a digital stream. And that's one of the things that are becoming popular. And vinyls are selling more and more, and a lot of people are starting to go back to vinyls, and here in Europe, especially now, there's a lot more vinyl plants that are starting to open up again to press vinyls. So it is gaining a lot more. I wouldn't say that it's not up where it used to be, but it's a lot more. It's a lot more in demand now than what it used to be, for sure.
Yeah, it's a lot nicer having an autograph on your vinyl record anyway than on your iPod, right? So, hey, one of the songs that was, out a couple years ago, Heroes, had a cool music video floating around there a while back. Are you planning on doing any music videos for the new record?
Yeah, we are. We actually did like an acoustic show last weekend. Kind of like a little bit of a surprise thing, and I know there's some footage from there that's going to be turned into a video. But also we got our mind set on doing some real videos. That we got a couple of ideas brewing that we want to do. I know my singer Thomas has some great ideas, and we're pinpointing them right now. So there will be some videos that coming out soon. Is not the right word, but they will be out in the near future.
So, are there? You mentioned you're kind of putting a band together, a full band, so you can do some live shows. Now, are you planning to do some shows there in Europe? And the other question, of course, we want to know here in the States: is there a hope of seeing you perform over here?
Yeah, of course there is. I lived in the States for many years and got a lot of friends, and the United States is a great place. So, of course, we definitely want to go play in the United States as well. It's logistic-wise, it's a little bit different doing that because you have to get some work permits and all that stuff. So it's a little bit more. It's not just traveling or one playing. You have to get all that straightened out, and we are working on all that stuff. It's a little bit easier for us in Europe here now because it just booking the shows is not that difficult. So we will be playing shows here in Europe, but it's also in the plans to come to the United States and play for sure.
Well, I mentioned the record's called Light at the End. It's due out on March 6th. Now, where is the best place for people to pick up the record in Europe, and where's the best place for people to pick it up here in the States when it comes out?
It's being released on a record label called Gateway Music, and we made an agreement that they are distributing the vinyl in Denmark, Greenland, and Faroe Islands, which are Danish territories. And for the rest of the world, you can just go to scandictribe.com, and you can buy it straight there from the store, and it will get shipped right to you.
Well, that's awesome, man. We're looking forward to it, and I'm excited to share some of the music with folks tonight. You know, I've been listening to it since you sent it over. It's a good record, man. I think folks are going to like what they hear. Once again, it's called A Light at the End. It'll be out on March 6th, and we've had Morten GP, man, a good friend of the rock shows. We've missed seeing you, man. I'm looking forward to seeing you again soon, I hope.
Yeah, I was back in the States not long ago, and it won't be long until I'm back, hopefully with a band, but I'll be back again myself again soon, and we've got to catch up for sure.